Yo, what's going on everyone? Mike Hill, the Wholesaling Titan here. And in today's video, I want to talk to you very briefly about the best strategy for wholesaling. I know there are tons of videos online that talk about the best strategy for wholesaling, but they're wrong. And the reason they're wrong is because they're missing this one fundamental idea. And the idea is that yes, there is a best strategy for you, but there is not a universal best strategy for everyone. So I'm going to give you 4 simple steps showing you how to pick the best strategy for you. And before I get into those specifics, just a quick reminder that if you want to stop spinning your wheels, finally get this thing figured out, cash multiple 5-figure checks every month, all that good stuff, click the link below, jump on a free one-on-one consultation call where we'll look at your business, identify your obstacles, answer all of your personal questions, and really help you to form a game plan and give you the best solutions to get your business up and running profitably. And it doesn't matter where you are right now. A lot of you guys know I did my first deal without spending a penny, and I can teach anyone, anywhere, how to be successful with this. I've got plenty of testimonials from people from all walks of life, people who are homeless. I have one on my channel, guy was sleeping on the beach, made $22K on his first deal. Now, spaces are limited each week, so make sure you click the link, grab your spot today. All right, so now let's go ahead and jump into those 4 steps. So the first part of having a successful strategy is making sure that you are in the right market. And what I mean is that you have to be in a market where the demand is high. You have to be sure that you have a product that people want to buy. And it's funny because I had this discussion with a student recently who got a property under contract, and the deal actually looked pretty good on paper, but we were not able to find a buyer for it. So he's talking to me and he's trying to explain to me why it's a good deal. You know, he's showing me the comps, telling me about all the features of the house, how it's a great discount, etc., etc. And, I had to explain to him that price is not the only consideration. So the problem with the property was that it was in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere. Okay, and an analogy for this is that if you can have the greatest steak in the world, right? Wagyu or Kobe beef, whatever, right? Made by the best chef with the most Michelin stars, and it could be a $10,000 steak, and you could get it for $3,000, like whatever. But if you're trying to sell it to a group of vegans, the pricing, the features, all that shit doesn't matter. So you have to ensure that you're in a strong market, that it's very much in demand, somewhere like Miami, for example. But then you need to break it down even further. So you really got to know like what's selling in your market as specifically as possible, where the hot spots are, what the average price points are, how many properties have sold and in what ranges, what types of properties are selling. And really, again, create that archetype of your ideal property for your ideal buyer, down to things like the neighborhood, the year built, the beds, the baths, etc. And with all the internet and with the internet and like all the tools available, you can research all this remotely and you can work the best markets remotely, from the comfort of your home. And that's why virtual wholesaling has never been easier. So you got to knock that out first, because if you're in an area where there's no demand, your strategy is pretty much irrelevant. So step 2 is going to be to do a full audit of your life. And I'll explain what I mean by this and why it's so incredibly important. And I'll come back and tie everything together in just a second. So first, you got to find out how much time you actually have available. And I want you to do this by creating what's called a reverse schedule. So fill out a schedule of what your typical week looks like. And that's where you want to put in all of your pre-existing commitments first, including your hobbies, your 9 to 5, the gym, dinner with the fam, date night with the wife. All that stuff goes in there first. And what you want to do is you want to really identify the white space on your calendar. Now, when people come to work with me, this is one of the first questions I ask. How much time per week can you realistically spend on your business? And the answer I always get is as much as it takes. Okay? And this is bullshit, right? This is not a good way to plan. It's not realistic. It's not efficient. You don't want to do that. When you know how much time you actually have, a few things happen. One, you're going to focus on things that are most important and have the largest ROI. Like, what's going to be the most efficient thing for me to work on right now? Next, you are fully committed to working during those times. And because you have your hobbies, it's already in your schedule, your rewards are already in place. You're a lot more realistic with goal setting and planning, and you can figure out exactly what you need to do to get a deal. I'm going to break this down using tangible data and numbers in just a second. And finally, this allows you to take advantage of Parkinson's Law, which is a major productivity hack. And Parkinson's Law basically says work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So that's why the day before you go on a vacation, you get so much done. Or why, maybe you've experienced a time in life where you had to write a term paper, you had a month to do it, you procrastinated, and then you wrote a 10-page paper in a night. So knowing how much time you realistically have and committing to it, right, is going to be one variable in our strategy equation. So the next variable is going to be understanding your finances. You need to do a very thorough audit of your finances and see what, if anything, you can allocate towards marketing and resources. And you want to look at this the same way a bank would look at your finances if they were going to offer you a mortgage. So what could you comfortably and realistically spend every month for, say, the next 6 months? And the way you want to do this is, go line by line through your bank statements, your credit cards, and really see where you're spending. And then just cut as much of that shit as possible. That Netflix, Hulu, PlayStation Plus, eating out too much, Uber Eats, cut all that shit off. And look, nobody gets into this business to live frugally, but do it for a season. Make the temporary sacrifice and you'll get ahead a lot faster. And on that note, again, you can absolutely do deals with no money. I did it, right? But understand, it's like this inverse relationship between time and money. You're going to spend one of the two. I mean, you're going to spend them both, but you're going to spend, they're inverse. And, you'll see advice, right? And videos that say things like, hey, 30-day plan for everyone. But the thing you have to realize, it's like I've had students come to me with no money at all and tons of time. I've had students come to me with very limited time, but they got some money to spend. So it should be obvious, right, that the strategies for those two different people need to look completely different. So to the degree that you can spend money on things like marketing, software, stuff like that, is to the degree that you can make things happen a lot faster. So now we got a few variables to the equation. We got your market, your time, your budget, but without the next steps, all that stuff, again, is kind of irrelevant. So there's kind of two parts here. First, you want to go download my free ebook. It's called 46 Ways to Find Motivated Sellers Fast as Fuck. Inside, I give you 46 of the best ways to find motivated sellers. So there's website, software, resources, and data, which is another crucial piece to this puzzle. And I also show you free and paid resources in there. And so the info in that ebook is basically going to supplement this video. There's a lot of stuff in there. I won't go into it all here, but man, it's free. Just download it. And then once you actually read it, you'll see how it fits into this formula. So you can use the link down below or just go to wholesalingwithmike.com and you'll find it right there on the homepage. So now let's bring all this stuff together, okay? What's the best wholesaling strategy for you, and how can I objectively guarantee that you're going to do a deal and it's going to be based on data? So again, you got your time, you got your budget, you got all that stuff figured out. You've read 46 Ways to Find Motivated Sellers, you've read the ebook, and now you have a general idea of your best go-to options. So now we want to really boil it down to the best. And I'm going to give you an example to kind of illustrate the process and why you need to do it this way. So, there's a very popular advertisement going on right now saying, cold calling is not the way. It's not the way. And there are actually a lot of similar ads telling you cold calling is dead, doesn't work anymore, you're wasting time. And for the record, I am not shitting on this particular ad. In fact, this is from a very reputable wholesaler killing in the game, doing tons of deals every month. But I am telling you that for some of you, cold calling is the best way for you to get deals. Because I want you to think about it like this. Let's say you wanted to bring a new soft drink to market. You would be wise, very smart to say, well, success leaves clues. Let me see who's the best in the market. And it's going to be Coca-Cola. So you ask the CEO of Coca-Cola, hey, man, what's the best way to advertise a new drink? And they're going to tell you, man, go spend millions of dollars a month in advertising. So they're not wrong, but you are not there yet. That's not what's going to work for you. So cold calling, it definitely works, man. I make cold calls, my VAs make calls, my students make calls, and deals come in every single month. So, when you hear things, any type of naysaying, just take it with a grain of salt. Shit, people say email is dead. In fact, I think the average click-through rate on email is like 2%. But I bet you still got an inbox full of emails every day. And I bet you probably clicked on some of them too. So, sticking with this example, right? Let's say you're leaning towards cold calling as your most efficient strategy for finding deals. You now need to use data, metrics, KPIs, which are your key performance indicators, to validate that this is the best strategy for you. And this is also going to tell you exactly how to achieve your desired goal. So basically, it looks like this. Whenever I work with a student, we start with a goal and a deadline, and then reverse engineer the process based on analytical data, match those up with their time, their monthly spend, if any, and then we make adjustments to the plan. So let's say you have a relatively low budget, but you got some time on your hands and you decide, hey, I'm going to try this cold calling thing. I think it's going to work for me. So let's say your goal is $120,000 a year. You divide that by 12 months. Now you got to make $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month is roughly one deal. Okay, how many calls does it take to make a deal? So let's say I give you, one of my very specific, I give you a niche list. I tell you with this list, it's going to take you 1,000 calls to make a deal. Well, at first, you might sound daunting, but if you really then break that down based on your schedule, let's say you only want to work 4 days a week. You divide 1,000 calls by 20 days, and now you realize you only have to make 50 calls a day, and that's a lot more manageable when you break it down like that. And then you can calculate how many minutes per call, match it up with your time available, etc., etc. So the point I'm making here, it's all formulaic. It's a formula. Now, another example of how metrics work and why they're so crucial, let's take direct mail, for example. Direct mail absolutely works if you know your numbers. So obviously, there are a couple more factors that go into calculating what it takes to get a deal through direct mail, quality of your lists, frequency of your mailers, etc. But just look at some simplified numbers, all right? Early on in my career, I would use lists and get a deal for, say, every $500 I spent. Now, let's say using that criteria, it's closer to $2,000, meaning for every $2,000 you spend on direct mail, you're going to do a deal. Well, if you got $2,000 to spend, that's going to be a really good source for you. You basically create a machine where, you put $2 in, you pull $10 or $20 out. But now let's say, you only have $1,000 a month to spend. And for the sake of the example, you're using the same list. Well, yes, you could get lucky and get a deal, but you are taking a risk and it's less predictable. So if you're working with a budget of $1,000, again, you could get a deal, or you could burn through all of your money and now you have to start again from zero. That's what happens to so many people. So hopefully that demonstrates, kind of gives you an idea why you want to stick away from these universal assumptions and declarations about what is the best, and really put forth the effort to get deeply and narrowly focused on techniques that are best for your personal situation. So to further drive this home and help you out with more specifics, remember, go to wholesalemite.com, download that free ebook, 46 Ways, Find Motivated Sellers, fast as fuck. Goes a little bit deeper than all the information in this video, more information on strategy, and again, it's more specific. Those 46 ways, their websites, lists, software, resources, it's paid, free, different sources. And of course, none of this works if your implementation and processes are off. So it's things like organizing, proper systems, follow-up negotiation, all that stuff. Those are topics for future videos, but there's also wealth of knowledge on our website. There's challenges, presentations, downloadable resources, ebooks, stuff like that. So feel free to take a look around while you're there. Thanks again for watching today. Please remember to like, comment with any questions below, and please subscribe to the channel, man. It helps out a great deal, and I will have a lot more information coming for you soon. So thanks again, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.